Have you ever heard of Brenda Sykes? If not, it's time to get acquainted with this fierce and fabulous actress who graced our screens back in the 1970s. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel Karinealourde, where we deep dive and break down the most iconic stars through history. If you're not yet subscribed, please be sure to do so and turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload. Now let's get into this video. Brenda Sykes was discovered on the dating game, proving that not only was she a talented actress, but she was also a catch for any eligible bachelor. I mean, look at her face, she's stunning. However, she didn't let that initial exposure go to waste. Soon after, she was cast in a slew of films and television shows. One of her most notable roles was in the film Mandingo, which tackled issues of slavery and race relations in the antebellum South. Brenda played the role of Ellen, a slave who was at the center of a bitter love triangle. The role was complex and challenging, and Brenda's performance was nothing short of riveting. But it wasn't just her acting prowess that made Brenda stand out in Hollywood. She was a trailblazer for women of color in the industry, breaking down barriers and challenging stereotypes. She refused to be pigeonholed into roles that perpetuated negative stereotypes and instead fought for more complex and meaningful characters. So why don't we hear more about Brenda Sykes today? It's a shame, but unfortunately, Hollywood has a way of erasing the contributions of marginalized groups. However, we can still celebrate and honor her legacy as a talented actress. And for me to make this make quite sense for you, imagine being a Black actress in the 1940s through the 1970s, breaking barriers and paving a way for future generations, standing your ground. You're talented, you're beautiful, and have the potential to become one of the biggest names in Tinseltown. And you're a phenomenal actress. One of my favorite roles that she starred in was in The Sheriff. She played it phenomenal. I felt every emotion. I'm not going to tell you guys the plot of it, but she played it with Ozzy, and we also have Ruby Dee was starring in it also. I did videos for Ruby Dee also, and they played a phenomenal role in that movie, and it's here on YouTube for free, and I think you guys might like it. So her characters are very complex, and she does a very great job acting and giving you the emotion and all the feels of the character. You really resonate with the character. But with all that, it still didn't matter. The odds are always not in your favor. Sure, we all know about Dorothy Dandridge and Lena Horne, but what about the others? You know, the ones who starred in race films and blaxploitation films. They were the hidden treasures of the silver screen that rarely got the opportunity to shine. It's like Hollywood was afraid of putting too many Black beauties on display at one time, as if the world couldn't handle their collective greatness. But let me tell you, these women were absolute forces of nature. They were trailblazers who paved the way for future generations, and they did it with grace and style. Their stories deserve to be heard just as much as any other Hollywood icon. Yes, we know of Eartha Kitt and Diahann Carroll, but countless other talented actresses were left in the shadows. They got little to no interviews, no praise, and no recognition. It's almost as if their talent was invisible to the mainstream media. They came in hot but quickly faded into obscurity, and these women were gorgeous. Of course, we know that men didn't get any shine either, but that's a video for a whole other day. Today we are focusing on the women of that era. And the reason why I'm going on this rant, before you get mad, I hate when I do a video for a starlet like Brenda Sykes, you know, or Teresa Graves, and there's little information out there about them. You see how I do these breakdowns for these other starlets, and we know their favorite food, their favorite color, their beauty regimens, and a little bit about their life, their childhood, like their hobbies and favorite things, and we can feel a little bit more connected to the starlet because people cared to know. But during that era, there were people that cared to know, but the media and the outlets didn't care to give them interviews or to shine any light on them. So when I do these videos for them, it's often very short with limited information, no pictures of their childhood, no pictures of their spouse, no information on them at all for them to leave behind as their legacy. So as time goes on, they fade into obscurity and people rarely hear of them, and their name just fades into the background, while you have people who I deem less talented have all of this acknowledgement and accolades, and through the years their legacy lives on because they just happen to be born a different color, you know? So it's very sad and it's very heartbreaking to see this, and I just wish that things were a little different. Now back to my rant. Race films and blaxploitation films were the only avenues for these talented ladies to showcase their acting chops. Race films were made by and for Black audiences, and therefore the actresses got more exposure within their own community. During the 40s and 50s, segregation was still a big thing. Black actors actors were limited to playing stereotypical roles, and any movies with predominantly black cast were only shown in black theaters. So enter race films. These movies were made specifically for black audiences and featured black actors and stories. They were a way for black people to see themselves on the big screen. And I did breakdowns for several race film popular artists. We had Sheila Guys, we had Francine Everett, Hazel Scott. I have so many that I've done that I would love for you guys to enjoy. And I even have Ruby Dee. We stated that we did one for it, and Freddie Washington. So check out all of these videos, as well as Teresa Grave. I did videos for all of these gorgeous, stunning women that just didn't get the chance to shine. So let's fast forward to the 70s, and the blaxploitation films were all the rage. These movies were gritty, action-packed, and starred some of the baddest chicks you've ever seen, right? They were a response to the civil rights movement and the continued lack of representation in Hollywood. They were a way for black people to reclaim their image and show the world that they were more than just stereotypes. Blaxploitation films faced a lot of criticism during its era, but on the other hand, were more mainstream and garnered more attention, but unfortunately didn't do much for the actress's career in the long run, except for like a Pam Grier. You know, she probably was one of the main ones that remained famous and her name didn't fade into obscurity, but for the rest of them, it kind of didn't do much for their career. Blaxploitation faced criticism because they said it was too violent, too raunchy, too much going on, etc. These black starlets were pioneers, not just in Hollywood, but in the fight for representation and equal opportunities. They had to fight twice as hard to get half as far, and their contributions to the entertainment industry should not be forgotten. So it's always with great pleasure for me to shine a light on these unsung heroes, to dig deeper into their lives and stories and give them the recognition that they deserve so they may not be forgotten. And it's up to us, the viewers, to kind of share these stories. So even if you don't share this video, if you're watching, put a thumbs up and leave a heart in the comments just to support it through the algorithm. Because when we celebrate diversity and talent, we create a better and more inclusive world for everyone. We must continue to celebrate the legacy of these forgotten black starlets who broke barriers and paved the way for future generations of today. Their impact on Hollywood and the world cannot be denied. And as for race films and blaxploitation films, though these genres faced a lot of criticism in the past, say what you may, but they were a necessary outlet for a community that needed to see themselves represented in the media. Blaxploitation films made it popular to do more action-based films in Hollywood and did away with the typical femme fatale roles and dainty female roles, right? Because every woman was playing a femme fatale, a damsel in distress before these films. And then blaxploitation showed that women could play cops, like in Christy Love starring Teresa Graves, which I did a video for. And it showed that they could play action heroes, that every movie didn't have to be a romance one. Hollywood saw how popular blaxploitation films are becoming, and they started to copy the plots in movies for themselves while still not giving those opportunities to the original founders. The only one, I'll give him his props, no matter what you guys say about him, I know to a lot of people don't like Quentin Tarantino, but once he saw how popular blaxploitation films was, he was a true fan. Not only did he start directing movies that were blaxploitation, but he was giving opportunities to a lot of the stars, including Pam Grier was his favorite actress of all time. But Quentin Tarantino also said that Brenda Sykes was one of the most gorgeous women that played in blaxploitation films ever to him, and he gave them opportunities, starred them in films, and didn't just was like a culture vulture, you know. He gave them the proper rights to their films. But you have a lot of people in Hollywood that refuse to give blaxploitation credit for making action movies popular. Before then, we were getting like Casablanca. Okay, that's what we were getting. And so after that, we started seeing more action, and as much criticism as it was getting, it's just like they refused to say that through history that, you know, these films made it popular to kind of press the line and do more of the action films. Comment below your thoughts on that, or if you even knew that information. But let's get back to Brenda Sykes, okay? Brenda Sykes, with little information that I could find about her, is a name that is synonymous with beauty and grace. She was born on June 25th in 1949 to a postal worker father in Shreveport, Louisiana. Even as a child, Sykes had a twinkle in her eye and a smile that could light up a room. She attended Susan Miller Dorsey High School School in Los Angeles and graduated in 1967 with flying colors. Despite growing up in a modest family, Sykes always had a certain je ne sais quoi about her. She had a natural beauty and grace that made her stand out from the crowd. Sykes was not only an alluring actress, but had her own unique sense of style. Her perfectly coiffed afro and her signature flower in her hair, often as she would wear, made her stand out from the rest. Her fashion statement and her sparkling personality drew the attention of many. Even today, she remains an iconic fashion inspiration. Sykes' journey in Hollywood began when she played Jim Brown's love interest in Black Gun. Brown had a massive crush on her, and it is said that he fought hard to get her the role. After that, Sykes played a college student boarding with Ozzie and Harriet Nelson in Ozzie's Girl. Her performances caught the attention of the audience and the industry alike. However, it was her role as Mandy, one of Jimmy Walker's girlfriends in Good Time, that catapulted her to stardom. Sykes was a true natural, and her effortless portrayal of Mandy stole the hearts of the viewers. She also appeared on the first season of The Streets of San Francisco and as Summer Johnson on the CBS series Executive Suite. Sykes was no stranger to love interests in Hollywood. She was married to musician Gil Scott-Heron from 1978 to 1987, and they have a daughter, poet Gia Scott-Heron. The filmmaker Esther Anderson said of their relationship, "She was exquisitely beautiful, soft, and refined. He was so full of fire, and she was the opposite. She was the water in his life," end quote. Sykes had been married to Paul C. Hudson since May 19th, 1995. Her life is full of hobbies and interests that have kept her busy throughout her career. She is known for her impeccable sense of style and is often held as a fashion icon by her fans, and so many people love her on Pinterest. She's on everybody's boards, right? Despite being a public figure, Sykes remains grounded and close to her family. Her daughter, Gia Scott-Heron, had spoken highly of her mother, saying that she is a constant source of inspiration and guidance in her life. As for where Brenda Sykes is now, she continues to inspire and awe her fans with her beauty, grace, and talent. Her performances have left an incredible mark on the industry, and her legacy continues to live on. And despite Brenda's success, she remained humble and true to her roots. She had a heart of gold. Brenda Sykes remains an iconic figure in the entertainment industry. She is hailed as one of the most beautiful women of her generation. She has redefined beauty with her essence, charisma, and talent that just oozes off the screen. And even though she has been away from the limelight for some time now, it's a delight to hear that she is happily married and she's just living her life away from the media. Comment below your thoughts. Did you know about her? Have you heard about her before? What movies have you seen? And check out some of her movies here on YouTube. They have it here if you cannot find them, because a lot of the blaxploitation films as well as the race films are very hard to find. And I wish there was like a network or something where they can just put all these movies together. And I wish more people would just find these films, put it out there, bring the exposure, and let's give all of these wonderful starlets their just due and their flowers. If you like the music you're listening to, the link is in the description. Support my brother and comment below who else would you guys like to see. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.